Baseball is right around the corner, so I thought it would be fun to start some rankings. In today's video, we're going to rank the top 30 players under 30 years old going into the 2024 MLB season. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, this was one of the most challenging videos I've ever had to script, so feel free to poke some holes in my arguments because, again, it was pretty tough. Kickstarting today's video at the number 30 spot, we have 29-year-old Bryan Reynolds, who is coming off a pretty good 2023 campaign despite dealing with a nagging back injury. Because of that back injury, we saw him regress in sprint speed, arm strength, and outfield range, but I think he's going to be a lot better going into 2024 when he's finally healthy. So despite that back injury, Bryan Reynolds was still able to rack up 31 doubles, 24 home runs, and a near 115 OPS plus a season ago. So for me, because he's been him in the past, I have to put him in today's ranking. So that's actually one of the rules I'll be living by in today's video. I will be taking prior seasons into account. So newcomers like Yoshinobu Yamamoto or the grandson of the Wind, Jung-Ho Lee, they won't be in today's video because I can't really predict the future. I don't know if they're going to be good or not. Even breakout rookies like Josh Lowe, Evan Carter, or friend of the channel Nolan Jones, I kind of want to see them during their sophomore season, if that makes sense. And the second rule, there is a thing called baseball age. However old you are on July 1st, that is your age for the season. So example, Matt Olson, he turns 30 before that, so he'll be in the next video where we rank the top guys over 30 years old. It would not shock me at all if our next player, William Contreras, was considered the best catcher in baseball by the end of 2024. He's been that good lately. Since 2022, he's played in 238 games. Would you guys believe that he's racked up 37 home runs, a near 290 batting average, and a 130 OPS plus as a catcher? He had 38 doubles and 17 home runs last year, despite missing a handful of games. And the best part about William, he keeps on improving on the defensive side of things. He went from a bottom feeder, framer, and blocker to being one of the best framers and blockers, not just in the NL, but in all of Major League Baseball. Ha-Seong Kim is coming off one of the best four-tool seasons we've seen in quite some time. Ha-Seong Kim racked up 17 home runs, 38 stolen bases, a 110 OPS plus, and 16 defensive run saves. That was good enough to win him a Gold Glove over someone like Bryson Stott. In 2022, Ha-Seong Kim had a 325 on base percentage, and in 2023, that jumped up to a 351 on base percentage because he has one of the best approaches in baseball. He almost never chases, and he takes his walks. He's going into his age 28-year-old season, so maybe we haven't even seen prime Ha-Seong Kim just yet. If you love power speed threats, you're gonna love our next player, Randy Arozarena. Now, before we talk about his power and speed, I do have to give Randy some credit because he went from being one of the worst in baseball at taking walks to being top 13% in walks just a season ago. I did not see that coming. We're talking about a guy that has gone 20-20 in 3 consecutive seasons. That's 20 or more home runs, along with 20 or more stolen bases. And because it's Randy, we have to talk about the clutch gene. He's one of the most clutch players we've ever seen, and he also did that in the World Baseball Classic. So no matter the stage, Randy Arozarena, he's going to get the job done. Although sometimes defensively he can be a little bit sketchy. Randy does not have the best jumps or reads off the bat, so that's why his outs above average isn't the highest, but credit to him, his outfield assists were up in 2023. At the number 26 spot is 27-year-old Logan Webb, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I did not know that Logan Webb was that young. Logan Webb has gotten Cy Young votes in each of the last 2 seasons, and last year he finished second with a 3.25 ERA and a 3.16 FIP. Those are really good numbers. He threw 216 innings. Since 2021 and almost 560 innings, Logan Webb has a combined 3 ERA, and if we're going to give Randy that clutch gene, Logan Webb in the playoffs a few years ago against the Dodgers, 14 2/3 innings, 17 strikeouts, only 1 run. Now, real quick, I just want to mention, I do not personally value starting pitchers as much as I do positional players, so if you feel like I've ranked Webb or Burns too low, let me know in the comments. Corbin Burns won a Cy Young back in 2021 in a season in which he had a 2.4 ERA and a whopping 12.6 strikeouts per 9. The only problem with Corbin Burns, as much as I love him, he's gotten worse and worse every single season, so that's why he's not in the top 10 or 15 of today's video. Now, to his credit, Corbin Burns was still pretty good in 2023. He had a 3.4 ERA, He finished 8th in Cy Young and made an all-star team. And also, I just want to kind of give credit where credit is due. He didn't start 2023 really good, but he ended 2023 on fire. In the second half, he had a 2.7 ERA. At the number 24 spot, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and it kind of pains me to put him this low, but it's not my fault. And truth be told, I don't even know if it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s fault because he is coming off one of the most unlucky seasons I've ever seen. He was top 9% in exit velocity, he was crushing baseballs, and he was was top 10% at not striking out. But if you're a Blue Jays fan, you can back me up in the comments down below. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. forgot how to pull baseballs, or if he was hitting the ball hard, it was directly to someone. It was insane to watch. Despite being unlucky, he still somehow managed to have 26 home runs and a near 350 on base percentage. I'm banking on Vladdy to have a monster 2024 campaign. So we talked about Logan Webb being one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. What about Will Smith somehow still being one of the most underrated catchers in baseball? People do not give Will Smith enough credit for the fact that he is one of the best blocking catchers in baseball, and even though his arm isn't the best, he has one of the quickest pop times, so he makes up for it. And on top of that, offensively, Will Smith is coming off seasons of 25 home runs, 24 home runs. He had 19 in 2023, but he made an all-star team. He took more walks, so he had a 360 on base percentage. If we're talking about the best offensive catcher in baseball, Will Smith, he's in that conversation. I actually think that Will Smith is a better offensive catcher than our next player, Sean Murphy, but defensively, Sean Murphy is a god. Sean Murphy was the best catcher in baseball when it came to blocks. He also was above average in caught stealing, framing, and pop time. So defensively, you really cannot get much better than Sean Murphy, and in the batter's box, he's really good as well. I hope you guys are prepared for what you're about to hear. Sean Murphy missed 54 games last year and still somehow had 21 doubles and 21 home runs and a 125 OPS plus. I still think that Will Smith has a more complete offensive game, but Sean Murphy, he's no slouch, and he hits the ball very, very hard. There's a baseball term called finding a barrel, and Sean Murphy, he's top 8% at finding a barrel. Luis Arraez is kind of the anti-Sean Murphy because we know that Sean Murphy is never going to hit 300, whereas Luis Arraez, we'd be shocked if he didn't hit 300. Luis Arraez is one of the best contact hitters we've seen, if not the best contact hitter we've seen over the last decade. He hit 354 last year with 30 doubles, and he tacked on 10 home runs. That's a career high. But unfortunately about Luis Arraez, he's not the best defender, and he's not very quick on the bases, so I can't really put him ahead of other guys in today's video because they just do a lot of other things better. But hey, he's going into his age 27-year-old season. Maybe he sacrifices some of that batting average for some pop. You never know. You guys might think I am crazy for having Cody Bellinger ahead of Luis Arraez, but let me try and explain. We're not talking about Akil Baddoo, someone that had a great Rookie of the Year campaign and then fell off. We're talking about Rookie of the Year and former MVP, Cody frickin' Bellinger. Yes, Cody Bellinger hit 193 with a 66 OPS plus from 2021 to 2022, but no one wants to mention the fact that he had a bum shoulder. He was finally healthy in 2023. Cody Bellinger had 26 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and a 133 OPS plus with really good defense for the Cubs and another breakout season. But the reason why he's making it so high in today's video, Cody Bellinger hit 337 against lefties. Let me repeat that. 337 versus lefties, that is huge for a guy like Cody Bellinger. At the number 19 spot, we have Ozzie Albies, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is where the video is going to get a little bit controversial. Ozzie Albies is on pace to have one of the craziest careers a second baseman has ever had because he's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the extra base hits, and he's got a pretty good glove as well, not factoring in 2023 because I don't know what happened last year, but he wasn't very good. Ozzie is the only second baseman ever in the history of baseball to have 180 doubles and 130 home runs by age 26, so he was quite literally born to hit extra base hits. But I do not want to be a prisoner of the moment. I can't just put Ozzie Albies over someone like Pete Alonso because Ozzie was better than him in 2023. It's kind of crazy to admit that in a down Pete Alonso season, he had 46 home runs and a 122 OPS plus. That was a career low in OPS plus. But that's why I am taking into account prior seasons. Before that, he had a 146 OPS plus. I mean, this is the same guy that as a rookie had 53 home runs and a 147 OPS plus. He's only 29 years old. I feel like the better Pete Alonso is about to come around. And defensively, Pete actually wasn't too terrible in 2023, so hey, I'll give him some credit. 46 home runs, improved defense. I like him a lot going into 2024. If Bo Bichette did not get injured in 2023, honestly, he probably would have been a top 10 MVP candidate because he had 20 home runs and a 306 batting average with a 123 OPS plus despite missing 27 games. The thing I love about Bo Bichette is the fact that when he does make contact, it is hit very, very hard. He still has to work on the chase and walk rate. I understand that. But hey, check it out. Defensively, Bo Bichette went from very bad to just kind of being bad, so that's an improvement. Spencer Strider will be the final pitcher for today's video. He just barely misses the top 15. For some reason, Spencer Strider gave up twice as many home runs in 2023. He went from a 0.5 home runs per 9 to a 1.1. That's not bad, but it's also not 0.5. Spencer Strider is setting strikeout record after strikeout record. That's why I call him Spencer Strikeout Strider. He had 281 strikeouts last year, in 186 innings. Phillies fans and Mets fans are going to clown this guy for not being very clutch. He allows a home run when he's not supposed to, but to me, Spencer Strider, he's disgusting. He deserves to be on this list. This was one of the hardest decisions to make of the entire video. Rafael Devers, where was I supposed to put this guy? I put him at 15. He had another season with 30 home runs and 30 doubles, 100 RBIs, and he had a 126 OPS plus. That is Rafael Devers in a down year. It's just defensively and on the bases, you can't get much worse than Rafael Devers. And I actually thought that he was improving defensively until last season came around. He had a -9 outs above average defensively. He was bottom 19% in sprint speed. So offensively, Rafael Devers is amazing. Everything else, ooh, it's bad. Adley Rutschman is going into his age 26-year-old season, and this guy put up 20 home runs last year with a .374 on base percentage. He had 92 walks last year and a 128 OPS plus as a defensive wizard switch hitting catcher. If you want to see just how good Adley Rutschman is, take a look at the win-loss record of the Orioles before he got called up and after he got called up. They've been one of the better teams in baseball since he made his arrival. Defensively, he's a brick wall. He is a fantastic framer, and his pop time is really quick, so he gets the ball to second extremely fast. He also has one of the best plate approaches, obviously, considering he had 90+ walks. He almost never whiffs, and he almost never strikes out. Knock on wood, but Adley Rutschman, the dude just looks like a Hall of Famer. You know how we talked about Ha-Seong Kim being one of the better 4-tool players in baseball? Michael Harris is one of the better 5-tool players in baseball. For his career, he's hitting .295 with 37 home runs in 252 games, so he's not all-time powerful, but the pop is still there. He has 20 stolen bases in back-to-back seasons, and defensively, listen to these stats. He had 8 outs above average last year. He had a top 7% arm, and on the bases, he was top 13% in sprint speed. So again, if you're making a case for the best 5-tool baseball player heading into 2024, you better mention Michael Harris. And it blows my mind that I forget he's not even 23 years old yet, which is just stupid. You know who else is not even 23 years old yet and also has a stupid ceiling? Gunnar Henderson, the AL Rookie of the Year. I know that Gunnar had 28 home runs and a 125 OPS plus. That's all fine and dandy. But did you know that Gunnar Henderson had 13 defensive run saves? That's stupid. So he was a stud defensively, and also he's one of those guys that when he hits the ball, it gets deleted. He was top 5% in hard hit percentage. On Baseball Reference, they gave him a 6.2 wins above replacement. To do that at 22 years old is just otherworldly. We finally got a glimpse as to what Luis Robert Jr. could be when healthy. He even missed 17 games and still managed 36 doubles, 38 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and a 128 OPS plus. And you guys already know, if we're talking about Luis Robert Jr., we're talking about one of the best defenders in baseball. He put up a whopping 12 outs above average defensively out there in center field for the bum White Sox. So we know that defensively, he's going to go and get it because the sprint speed is also really good. In terms of making contact, yes, you can poke holes in that side of his game because he does chase and he doesn't take walks, but everything else is elite. He's a freak. Staying with freaks, I cannot believe the age 23 season that Bobby Witt Jr. just had. As a second-year shortstop, Bobby Witt Jr. had 30 home runs, 49 stolen bases, a 120 OPS plus, and to me, those stats, they're not even as good as they could be because look at his second half stats. To me, he's only going to get better because he had a 257 batting average in the first half, but in the second half of last year, he turned it up to a 301 batting average and a 141 OPS plus with 16 home runs and 22 stolen bases in 68 games. And if we're going to tip our cap to William Contreras for improving the defense, we got to talk about Bobby Witt Jr. and the fact that he was a borderline platinum defender last year. I know I'm going to get absolutely flamed for this, but to me, I would still take Fernando Tatis Jr. over Bobby Witt Jr. I love how everyone just casually forgets that Fernando Tatis Jr. to begin his career had a combined 160 OPS plus. Fernando is one of 8 players ever to have 105 or more home runs and 80 or more stolen bases before his age 25 season. Again, he did all that despite missing 32 games his age 22 season, his entire 23-year-old season, the first month of his 24-year-old season, and also he played in that shortened season back in 2020, so he missed a bunch of games there as well. Now, to be fair, I'm looking at Tatis how I looked at Ronald Acuna Jr. before the 2023 campaign. A lot of people were kind of writing off Ronald, saying he's not the same guy after the ACL, and I said, no, he just needs some time. Tatis won a platinum glove at a completely new position, and at the same time had 33 doubles, 25 home runs, 29 stolen bases, and a 113 OPS plus. So again, the OPS plus, it does need some work. But we're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. here, not Ronnie Belliard. I could honestly talk about Corbin Carroll for the next hour. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but this kid is special. In his Cup of Coffee debut season in 2022, he had 4 home runs and a 132 OPS plus in 32 games. So I thought, oh, he's going to be pretty good. No, he's all-time good. The NL Rookie of the Year finished 5th in MVP because he had 25 home runs, 54 stolen bases to only 5 caught stealing, with an insane 362 on base percentage and a 134 OPS plus, which is the same OPS plus he has for his career. Aside from the arm strength, Corbin Carroll is a monster defensively as well. He's gonna go get any baseball you could possibly imagine. If you guys did not know, my favorite player of all time is Grady Sizemore, and Grady actually worked with Corbin and the Diamondbacks recently, and Grady says, Corbin, he's the real deal, so I'll go ahead and trust him. I genuinely think that Corbin could be one of the few guys in the 400 home run, 400 stolen base club, but let me go ahead and knock on wood so I don't jinx it. I don't know if Kyle Tucker is ever going to steal 400 bags, but Kyle Tucker, he's not someone to mess with. Kyle Tucker has easily been one of the best overall players in baseball since 2021. Over his last 3 seasons, he's averaging 34 doubles, 30 home runs, 23 stolen bases, and a 139 OPS plus over a 3-year stretch. That is mind-boggling. Now, last year, I was quick to say that his defense did slip, but Astros fans were saying, hey, the defense, it's still there. He's dealing with a few injuries. So the fact that he was still a god offensively and he improved the defense as the season progressed, I got to give him credit. He's just good no matter what. He won a Gold Glove in 2022. He probably could have won one in 2021 as well. So whatever you need from a baseball player, just ask Kyle Tucker because he can give it to you. I still believe that J-Ram is the best third baseman in baseball, but coming up next, Austin Riley at the number 6 spot of players under 30. He is coming for the throne. He really is. Sometimes I think we forget just how good Austin Riley is defensively because of how good he is offensively. Since 2021, according to DRS, Austin Riley has 28 defensive run saves over 3 seasons. He's really good over there. So he's really good at defense and he's elite at offense. We are talking about a guy that since 2021 has missed, what, 5 or 6 games? And despite nearly playing every single game over the last 3 years, he's not slowing down. He had 37 home runs while hitting 281, and he had a 128 OPS plus. He was 7th in MVP. He's been top 7 3 years in a row. I know a lot of people are not going to like the fact that I put Riley over Tucker, but that's just me. That's the best part about these videos. You can let me know in the comments why you disagree. But hey, Astros fans, before you go off on me, check out the next player. Do you guys remember as a rookie when Yordan Alvarez had 27 home runs in 87 games? Yeah, I'll never forget that. And despite only playing in 114 games last year, he still somehow pummeled 31 home runs. He drove in 97 RBIs in 114 games with a 170 OPS plus. This dude has a career 165 OPS plus. He's not even 27 years old yet. If you told me that you thought Yordan Alvarez was the best hitter in baseball going into 2024, I wouldn't be mad at you. He's not going to get the job done defensively or on the bases, but I will give him some credit. When he needs to make a throw to home, he's actually got a pretty good arm. But because J-Rod has the speed and the defense, I got to put him just ahead, like ever so slightly ahead of Yordan Alvarez. It's almost comical to read off the stats that J-Rod had last season: 37 doubles, 32 home runs, 37 stolen bases with a 128 OPS plus, which was a down season technically because he had a 147 OPS plus at 21 years old the year before. But again, we're talking about J-Rod here. He was top 4% in sprint speed and even better defensively, top 3% in outs above average with 12 outs above average, and he's got a cannon for an arm as well. So if we're talking about the best 5-tool player in baseball, I think it's J-Rod. All I know is if you invested in Julio Rodriguez cards, you're very, very rich now. Now, remember how we just talked about Yordan Alvarez being the best hitter in baseball? This guy would like a word, Mr. Juan Soto. Juan Soto was one of the few players in baseball last year that played in every single game, and he rewarded the Padres with 35 home runs. He even racked up 12 stolen bases kind of out of nowhere. He had a 410 on base percentage and a 158 OPS plus. So that's why we say that Juan Soto is the modern day Ted Williams, not the fact that he's going to hit 406 because no one's going to do that anymore. Come on, guys. It's just so crazy to me that on Baseball Reference, Juan Soto already has a near 30 WAR and a 160 OPS plus. He's not even 26. He just turned 25 years old in October. But I cannot put him ahead of our number 2 player under 30 going into 2024, Ronald Acuna Jr., the 2024 NL MVP. If you guys are newer to the game game of baseball, there is an exclusive club in baseball, the 40-40 club. That's 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases in a single season. Ronald just created the 40-70 club. Ronald had 41 home runs, 73 stolen bases, and on top of that, he had a 337 batting average. If Ronald somehow fixes his reads off the bat on baseballs in front of him, I genuinely think that Ronald could be a 10-WAR player every single year for the next 10 years. But coming up at the number 1 spot, despite how historic Ronald Acuna Jr. was, there's no one more historic than Shohei Ohtani, the savior of Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani only played in 135 games last year, so he missed 27 games. He still led the American League in home runs. He had a 304 batting average with a 412 on base percentage, a 184 OPS plus, and on the pitching side of things, he had 167 strikeouts in 132 innings. That's an 11.4 strikeouts per 9, and he had a 3.14 ERA. I sometimes run out of words to describe Shohei Ohtani, but that's Shohei Ohtani in a nutshell. He's indescribable. So to me, those are the 30 best players under 30 years old going into 2024. If you agree or disagree with any of my picks, if you feel like I left out someone of importance, please let me know in the comments. And also stick around, hit that subscribe button, because part 2, players over 30, it's going to be fun as well.